Y'all can pick it up whenever you would like.
All set for day 3 of the Generation Adidas Cup from the Toyota Soccer Center in Frisco, Texas. I'm Matt Peterson, joined by Carter Augustine, and joining us shortly will be David Goss. Carter, a good one on hand today. New York City FC knows it's all within their grasp. If they win, they'll advance to the winners portion of the Premier Division. And for Pumas, they're looking to get a good result here on this final day.
Yeah, but Pumas still very much in it as well. If they win and the result goes for them in the other match of this one, Seattle and Saprissa, then they have a chance as well.
So New York City FC, they won in a penalty shootout on their very first day against Seattle. And then a 2-0 victory over Saprissa in their second game. Pumas beat Saprissa 4-0 in their tournament opener, and they lost to Seattle 2-1 on day 2. So only the group winner will advance.
Should be a good one, Matt, and I'm really looking forward to seeing which one of these teams can dominate the ball. Both of these teams in their first 2 games of this group were the ones that had the most of the possession, and so those styles will go head-to-head today, and I think whoever can try and keep hold of the ball will have a good chance of replicating their success in the earlier group stage matches.
Pumas in the navy blue from the tops and socks with black shorts. New York City FC with their city blue from top to bottom. Referee today is Henrik Carlson. Jeremy Queso is the referee behind the benches. Ben Pilgrim is the opposite assistant referee. Jorge Ramirez is the 4th official. Here we go from Frisco, day 3. And it's Pumas attacking from left to right against New York City FC. A 4-3-3 formation for New York City FC under head coach Matt Pilkington. And Pumas coming out in a 4-4-2. Good work from Nico Benalcazar, the captain for New York City FC on this left side.
The left back who really does wear that captain's armband and shows it, demonstrates it on the field. Had a lot of touches throughout their first 2 games. Really gets himself involved on that left-hand side.
That was Tristan Briscoe, unable to settle for New York. A 4 in the back for New York City FC. Will Citron, Kwako Awusu, Nico Benalcazar, and Joseph Scali.
It's a big chance there just now, Matt, for Pumas, as looked like Brian Falcone had made a nice run in behind, just the pass didn't match the run. New York City nicely cut out in the back. Kwaku Awusu with a nice read of the game there.
A midfield 3 for New York City, Justin Hack, Giovanni Reina, and Velko Petkovic. And the 3 across the front, Salvatore Rassizi, Tristan Briscoe, and Will Sands. For Pumas, Eder Martinez is the goalkeeper. Back 4 from right to left, Carlos Lopez, David Oteo, Idakel Dominguez, and the left back is Gabriel Zarco. New York City FC wins the ball in the center circle. Choppy start to this one for both teams.
Sure has been a choppy start. As we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast, both these teams used to having the ball. And right now, neither of them really can keep hold of the ball. And an interesting contrast in styles, as you mentioned, Matt. 4-3-3 for NYC, and Pumas with more of a 4-4-2, but we will see Marco Garcia as more of a second striker. He will drop deep to pick up possession, help out in the midfield, but that'll be a big midfield battle, the three in midfield for NYC against those two box-to-box midfielders for Pumas.
Giovanni Reyna to take this. He's only 14 years of age, but as you can see, good size, despite being one of the younger players in this tournament. Curls it into the mix. Flick towards goal. It's a corner kick. Reyna scored a very nice free kick goal from about 25 yards out to the left of the edge of the 18-yard box. So he's very good from set pieces.
Yeah, it was a good delivery there. Well defended by Pumas. Looked like Dominguez rose highest to head clear, but we'll have to defend another set piece straight away.
Early corner kick for NYCFC. Headed out. That was Idakel Dominguez. And now a Pumas throw-in. Gave you the back four for Pumas. It's a four-set in midfield. Brian Natarin, the right mid. Central midfielders Kevin Kenchela and Eric Lira. The left mid is Brian Falcone. And as Carter said, Marco Garcia is the underneath striker. Emilio Segovia will be in the most advanced position for Pumas. Here comes Pumas down the left. Service from near the corner. And NYC able to clear. That was Emilio Segovia, the target. Very tall, 16-year-old, had a hat trick against Saprissa. He's the target man up front.
Yeah, he strikes a big figure up there, doesn't he? Ball just over his head there, and it fell to the feet of Brian Nataren, but just couldn't quite drop in time for him to have a hit.
Sustained pressure here from Pumas. Good close that time. That was Justin Hack, Brooklyn, New York native, as the offside flag comes up on this near side. It's a good mix of the five boroughs and more for NYCFC. They started with 15 total academy players with their first practice in June of 2015 from 6 of their youth affiliates across New York. And 11 of those original 15 are on this Generation Adidas Cup team here in 2017, NYC's first trip to the tournament.
Yeah, starting from scratch pretty much as a new member into MLS. Of course, you mentioned it, they've well represented from all over the city, all of the boroughs, and I mean, don't have to look too far for talent if you're in New York City. And it's going to be fun to watch the battles for kids between NYCFC and New York Red Bulls moving forward.
So they started with those 15 players. They're going to add a few teams for next season. Currently with U14 and U16 teams. They'll add U12, U13, and under 19 teams for next season. As Pumas gets forward on this right side. Nataran overhit his cross. Had a great option at the near post in Emilio Segovia.
Really good build-up play from Pumas there, though. Kevin Conchola in midfield. Excellent first touch to scoot around a defender, and then with the 1-2, but overcooked on the cross, as you mentioned.
Throw in for NYCFC on the far side. NYCFC has not allowed a goal in this competition. A couple of shutouts their first two games against Seattle and Saprissa.
Haven't allowed a shot on goal either in 2 games. Really impressive. Didn't allow a shot against Saprissa, and just a few off-target efforts against Seattle. So been solid defensively. Certainly having over 60% of possession in both those games will help.
There's Joe Scally drawing the foul. He was called into a U15 boys national team camp last November and again in January. So he and Reyna are the 2 regulars with the U15s. Andres Jason also got a call up last November, but not again in January. Could be Reyna to take this. Good delivery and headed over the end line. It's a corner kick, so a little bit of miscommunication between the goalkeeper Eder Martinez and his defender, but better safe than sorry for the Pumas defender.
That's certainly the thinking behind that headed clearance. But yeah, a little shakiness from the keeper, Eder Martinez. Didn't play in the first 2 games, so getting his first taste of action. Tested there on that set piece.
Here comes Pumas trying on the counter-attack off the corner. Just enough from Benalcazar. They go all the way back to Johan Peñaranda. Game opening up a bit here. There's Scally, cannot get there. It's a goal kick.
Game is opening up. Some back and forth action there. Of note, Matt, kind of a cloudy, wet day here in Dallas today. First 2 days of this competition, the wind was a huge factor. Coming out of the south on both days, 30-mile-an-hour gusts. But today it's calmed down a little bit. Perhaps the rain last night has helped that.
Throw in now for NYCFC. We spoke with NYCFC U16 head coach Matt Pilkington and their academy director Rodrigo Marion yesterday morning. Pilkington talked about his team. It's a young group. When you start with 15 players and then you play in a big competition the next year, you're generally going to be young. As that group is now a year older. And a free kick here to Pumas. But Pilkington said in these 70-minute games, there is less margin for error. And when you don't allow a shot on goal, that margin for error is a bit wider. But they discussed the very diverse group in this NYCFC Academy, a wide range of socioeconomic backgrounds. Cleared by Owusu. Tristan Briscoe. And recovered by Pumas.
Owusu's been good so far in the early stages of this match. They've been sending balls up to the head of the target man, Segovia, but those two, that's going to be a battle to watch all night long.
Good work from Peñaranda off his line to clear. Justin Hack. Hack with a good switching ball. Owusu didn't realize that Segovia was lurking for Pumas. Petkovic. Good central ball to the feet of Tristan Briscoe. Now Scally. See NYC very calm on the ball. Working the ball right to left. And now Pumas breaking the other way. So a good flow now to this game. Not many chances on goal, but each team getting to the opposite's offensive third. Benalcazar.
Solid defending from Dominguez there, sliding on over. It's a good run forward from Morel. Just ran into a few too many Pumas bodies, and the center back easing him off the ball, out for a goal kick.
As they restart with the goal kick, good time to welcome David Goss to the broadcast. Your first game now at the GA Cup. Welcome.
I'm excited.
It's been fun. We've had some really good games here on Field 4. Atlanta against River Plate on the opening day. That was a 2-1 River Plate win. Flamengo over LA Galaxy 3-1 on Sunday. In the morning game, Philadelphia Union beat Monterrey in a very good game, 2-1. So it's been very competitive games. And one more tonight, FC Dallas against Real Madrid. Well, we'll save those anecdotes for a little bit later, as Pumas has drawn a free kick and a yellow card shown to Joe Scally.
It's a bad tackle from Joe Scally there. Comes in really late into the Pumas player, caught him with a really rough tackle. Referee did well to play advantage and then remember that challenge, come back and send Joe Scally into the pocketbook.
And we should note that VAR is being used, the video assistant referee technology. It's been implemented on this field in a few of our games. A big decision for Flamengo in their 3-1 win against the Galaxy. The final goal was a penalty that was awarded after a look at the replay monitor. And then in that morning game, a decisive call against Monterrey, a red card for an elbow off the ball, also using VAR.
Yeah, it's a nice little testing ground for the referees and for the teams to get used to VAR. Of course, it's being implemented over a host of countries. This is just one of the countries that will be testing it out over this 1.5 to 2 year period, and see if IFAB will gather all the results together and make a decision on what they're going to do with VAR moving forward. But here it's a good opportunity for refs to get a test. And of note, every play is being checked by the video assistant referee. It's just a matter of if he will suggest to the ref to take another look. And if there's a clear and obvious error, that is what they're looking for in terms of implementing VAR. And that's what you'll see if the ref does go over and take a look in the VAR tent.
And we've seen its best use when they haven't had to go to the booth. So there was a chance early on for Monterrey against Philadelphia where there was a goal line clearance. The game was not stopped, it was reviewed, so there's not unnecessary stoppages is probably the best way to explain it.
Minimal interference, maximum benefit. That is the aim, according to Peter Walton and Howard Webb, who are running the initiative for Pro here in the United States.
Here's Giovanni Reyna, out wide right. And the cross is blocked out for a corner kick. That was Will Sands out of Rye, New York. Twin brother James, training with the first team this year. Played in a few preseason games, so his brother is a defender, he's a forward.
Good interchange with Gio Reyna down that right-hand side.
Delivery into the box, cleared off the line at the back post, second chance, Briscoe! And then his shot was well wide and cleared by Monterrey, but that was a few good chances for Tristan Briscoe. It's a good delivery to the back post.
Yeah, cleared off the line, and the debate on whether he should have players on the posts on these corner kicks. Here's one case for having the players as the man on the back stick, Ezequiel Dominguez. Cleared it off the line. It's actually a tough angle for Briscoe. He managed to fire off a shot. It was going into that far corner. Dominguez blocking it away with his knees.
There's Hack. He's been very smooth in possession from his holding midfield position. New York City has been very good on the ball here in Frisco.
Yeah, you can see why they've dominated possession in the first 2 games. Just as we're talking about him, Hack plays out of bounds there, but he's been excellent. The ability to switch fields with long diagonals as well.
It was Scally unable to control it, one of the real youngsters on this team. Scally's 14 years old. He was born on New Year's Eve 2002, so he was a day away from being at age 2003. And he, along with a few others in this NYC team, are still in middle school.
As if I didn't feel old enough already, Matt. No players born in the 90s in this tournament.
Scally's out of Lake Grove, New York, on Long Island. A lot of Long Islanders in this NYCFC academy. Pretty even game so far. Each team has had a good share of the ball.
A couple of half chances either way as well. Neither goalkeeper having to make a save as of yet, but cleared off the line a couple times just moments ago from New York City on that corner kick, and you can see the set pieces could play a huge role, of course, as you mentioned. Reyna scoring from a direct free kick, and delivery so far in this game has been good from corner kicks and other free kick situations.
20 minutes in. The halves are 35 minutes in length here at the GA Cup, with teams playing every other day. So a 70-minute game. And if it's tied after 70, they'll go to penalties. If you win in penalties, you get an extra point, so a 2-point victory. The team that loses in penalties gets a point for the draw.
Seen that in this group as well. NYC coming through on penalties against Seattle, and that extra point could be crucial in the long run, as it is just the top of the group, the only team to advance.
Eric Lira jogging off. He may have some blood as he jogs towards the Pumas bench.
His shirt has actually ripped along his right-hand side there.
So we'll see how referee Henrik Carlson handles this, if he lets play continue with Pumas down a man. And now we're confident we can welcome David Goss to our broadcast booth. Welcome, David. Good strength in the air, Kwaku Owusu. Here comes Hack through midfield. Good forward ball. Briscoe nearly gets there. Well read by Adair Martinez, the goalkeeper.
Quickly off his line. That was an excellent dummy in midfield. Reyna sucked in a couple defenders, and Hack making the lung-bursting run forward from his holding midfield position. Good communication as well between the two sky blue players.
Reyna. And good hands from Adair Martinez. Had to field it in an awkward position after Velko Petkovic played in a pretty good ball.
Pumas still down 10 men there. You see Garcia kind of sliding over to the right-hand side to try and help make two banks of four. Interesting to see what they'll do with the jersey over there. I don't know if they got a sewing kit on the sidelines.
NYC was still deciding their starting lineup for this game as of this morning. I think shows the depth of their team, and also how some of these guys have played a lot of minutes, up to 140 in the first two games over a 3-day span. So managing those minutes, seeing how everyone was feeling, but most of the starting group is back in the lineup here this afternoon as New York City looks to win the group. Have to restart this goal kick. Adair Martinez, his first game in the tournament. They're not playing the first two.
NYC pressing high. Notice their average position in most of the games was pretty well advanced.
Alexi Morel does well for NYCFC. Now it's Giovanni Reyna. Velko Petkovic. Nice build up here for NYCFC, and they get a corner kick out of it. It's Will Sands. You talk about starting position. Different for him in the first two games. He's played sort of on the right and on the left wing, depending on the first 2 games of the tournament. So they're pretty interchangeable up top. Briscoe is going to hold mostly in the middle, but Rassisi and Sands sort of interchange. Good looping service. Big header away from the center forward Emilio Segovia of Pumas. The initial challenge was good from Nico Benalcazar, but it was the second contact that led to a foul.
Yeah, it was a little high on the challenge there from the captain. Good initially, as you mentioned, Matt. Trying to snuff out that counter with a strong challenge. Bounce to a Pumas player, he gets up and just mistimed the tackle and a high boot. Easy call for the assistant referee right in front of him.
A deep breath. Now service from Marco Garcia. Back towards the corner, put back in the mix, and it's just wide. Huge chance, Brian Nataran.
It's a big chance. Actually, looked like the center back, David Oteo, was up in the mixer there. And what an excellent cross from the left, unmarked really in the box, found himself a nice pocket of space. Such a tough technique on the volley there. Managed to keep it down. Directly on frame.
That foul was against Alexi Morel, and now Giovanni Reyna mixing it up with Brian Falcon. So as we near the end of this first half with about 10 minutes left, intensity coming up a notch.
Yeah, this is something that most academy directors we've talked to here from MLS teams have mentioned. They are excited to see how their players deal with the intense nature of these international competitions, international teams.
A ball coming near us on the broadcast position on this near side of the field. Half clearance from Hack. Here comes Pumas, and it's pulled wide. Good chance that time, Kevin Conchola, a 15-year-old, one of the younger players in this Pumas team. He's the youngest starting player today.
Getting his first start of the tournament as well. Got some minutes coming on to try and salvage a point against Seattle. They were unable to do so. Got a late goal, but fell 2-1. Getting the nod from the start today, and there just skews a shot wide.
So I would say after New York's had the better of the chances, Pumas has had the better of the run of play the last 5 or 10 minutes. Reyna. Justin Hack. Wide here for the captain, Nico Benalcazar. Quality, patient build-up here for NYCFC. That's well defended. Carlos Lopez, a 16-year-old, the right back for Pumas.
Of note, Matt, that Pumas is back to full strength. One of those dead ball situations. Got the jersey mess figured out. Back on the field, and you're right, Pumas really has, after weathering a bit of a NYC storm, NYC looked better for a nice little 10-minute stretch there after an initial nervy start from both teams. Pumas starting to get a grip on this game and created a few nice chances in the last couple of minutes.
Dolko Petkovic. Now Pumas with a chance to break. Peñaranda with no problem. Peñaranda's from Long Beach, New York, just south of Long Island near the JFK airport. Previously with the BW Gotchi Academy. Player down on this near side. That's Brian Nataran.
Didn't see what happened here, Matt. Off the ball here, it's a little coming together. Nataran.
So now with Nataran getting looked at by the athletic trainer, we finally can bring in Dave Higas on our third try.
Not
Welcome.
related, though. I didn't injure him, and the reason he's down is not so that I can come on it. Those are unassociated. I'd like to point that out. But thank you for having me. I'm excited about this. It's a great day. I love these tournaments. This is my third year here, and I think the quality's gotten better every single year, and everything I've heard since I've just gotten down here is the level of play. I saw that LA Galaxy performance. I think NYCFC, the youngest team here, has looked really impressive in this game against an international opponent, which they're not very used to. So it's exciting to watch, and I love to see players learn different styles. And so you're talking about the physicality and at times different styles of play. These two players down on the sideline started kicking at each other on the ground, but that's what you have to learn. That's what you have to learn to get to that next level. So it's been a good game so far. It's been well played.
Yeah, we've seen the physicality go against some of the international teams in some moments. The Philadelphia-Monterrey game, Monterrey lost a player to a red card just after halftime, and then the decisive goal for Philly came from a midfield set piece. It was very unnecessary from the Monterrey player. So it can go both ways as we're back in play and Pumas breaking down the left side. The offside flag comes up. A good view from our near side official, Ben Pilgrim.
It's been impressive to watch Garcia, though, in the orange boots. Number 346 playing that number 10 role, create for this Pumas side, find some space. Obviously, Segovia draws a lot of attention up top at 6'2", so he's done well to notice that, find the openings, and try and create for his team.
Kind of that big man, small man partnership up top seems so nicely worked over the years, and yeah, Garcia's been impressive so far.
And I see a little sloppy in midfield. 3 minutes left before time will be added on at the end of this first half. I think we'll have a few minutes. There's been a few stoppages in this first half. Giovanni Reyna. Here's Joe Scally. Now Hack. Advantage played after a big swing from Petkovic.
Yeah, lucky that he did not get more contact there. That was dangerous.
Now here's Sands. Isolated, 1 versus 1. Sands, good low-driven cross. Bobbled momentarily, but then recovered by Adair Martinez. He's been very sure-handed this first half. That was his first real bobble.
NYCFC hasn't had a lot of chances to get crosses in so far in this first half. I think they were the more dominant team the opening 20 minutes. I think Pumas now has taken over this NYCFC side, probably ready for that halftime whistle. See if they can get out of this 0-0. It looked like they were going to get the goal first. I think in the opening phase of this game where they controlled play in midfield, they slowed the game down. They were able to work it side to side. Now it's gotten a bit more open, a bit more hectic, and Pumas seems to be more comfortable in that open space.
A new player checking in for Pumas. Jonathan Vasquez. He scored a goal against Saprissa. And he started both games. He comes off the bench here on day 3.
And not a bad option to bring in a guy who's started 2 previous games. Unfortunate, though, for Brian Nataran. Looks like he's not able to shake off that injury, and he'll be substituted out of this one. But it looks like we'll just see Vasquez for the time being slot in on this right wing.
Marco Garcia to deliver once again. Good ball towards the back post. NYCFC does enough, and it's Brian Falcone. Nearly got there and ran it in, but some contact on the far side. It's a free kick for NYCFC for Joe Scally.
Looks like he put Sands into the boarding over there. Continuing that physical play we've seen throughout this first half.
It's good desire from Sands there. He looked second favorite to that ball the entire time. Just managed to duck in around Pumas player trying to shield him away for a throw, and in doing so, you're right, David, he wore that one on the side ad boards there, but earned a free kick for his team.
Good ball out of the back from the goalkeeper, Johan Peñaranda. Now NYCFC pushes forward. Sands on that right side. Loves to cut on his left. Makes it all the way to Eder Martinez. We mentioned the 15 original academy players for NYCFC. 11 are still a part of this group. 8 of the 11 are in the starting lineup. So the only outliers, Tristan Briscoe, Will Sands, and then Kwaku Owusu, the center back partner of Nico Benalcazar.
It's impressive to watch a team build an academy up from really nothing. And you know, I got to talk to their coaches a few times over the last 2 years as they were building this, but not having an opportunity to get a team out on the field. And now this chance, bringing this young squad to get them ready to play at that next level. They've had a number of affiliates. I think we've seen Atlanta follow that model. Similarly, LAFC seems to be in that direction.
And now a free kick for Pumas. Jonathan Vasquez flailing his arms out at the near side referee. He got the call. Maybe he wants a booking. But off the bench and bringing good intensity, Jonathan Vasquez. This will be a dangerous set piece for Pumas. We've seen the havoc Emilio Segovia has wreaked already, and a yellow card is shown.
This would be a huge goal for Pumas. Don't forget that NYCFC in first place, so a tie goes in their direction, including a penalty kick loss. So right now, Pumas is the team that needs a goal to get that lead, and this as good an opportunity as they've had so far in this game. It'd be heartbreaking for NYCFC right before halftime.
I gotta tell you, I've been impressed by the center back, Ezequiel Dominguez. He started that attack with a sweeping pass outside of the boot.
Marco Garcia has been on just about every free kick, and worth noting the yellow card went to Giovanni Reyna.
Not afraid to mix it up, Reyna, so far in this first half. We haven't mentioned, of course, the pedigree. His father, one of the better midfielders in U.S. men's national team history.
He was here today, walked by us just a bit ago. Service, good clearing header. That was Justin Hack. Now NYC with the chance to break, and they do. Here they come. Good switching ball. Sands will try to run it down. It was a bit heavy off the foot of Scally. And Briscoe's delivery a little bit low.
Opportunity missed there. Wide open down the side from Sands. Good recognition to understand where to play the ball, but pulls Sands too wide on the release and doesn't allow him to get in on that breakaway. It was basically a 3-on-2 coming down the field.
Good work that time. That's Marco Garcia. Great balance and strength against some challenges. But then he lost out to a very good tackle from Benalcazar. It's a halftime whistle from a nearby field. Not here. Marco Garcia. We see Vasquez arguing once again. He just threw his body into Benalcazar. Referee awards the free kick to NYCFC.
But Garcia's physicality for his size and style of that number 10 is impressive. He's won a number of duels in that midfield area, basically just running right through defensive players who weren't prepared to step in on him. Something NYCFC is going to have to recognize in the second half. Understanding if he gets on that ball and turns to go upfield, you have to come in strong on those tackles.
Yeah, just there, winning the duel with Kwaku Owusu, who's about twice his size.
Pumas clears once again. Nice little 1-2. It's returned to the substitute, Jonathan Vasquez. Measured cross, just under the foot of Brian Falcone, but he recovers. Falcone appeals for a penalty. I think the referee got it right. And good claim at the back from Johan Peñaranda.
Interesting one. Falcone with a nice little step over move. Faked the cross on his right. Cross turn to the left. Looked like he might have got past the defender, but got his cross away, and maybe that's what influenced the ref's decision.
And of course that play being checked as all others are. And if it was a clear and blatant penalty, the VAR would recommend a review, and that hasn't happened. I think Pumas, while they'll feel a little annoyed, at least they have that going for them.
Yeah, to my eye, just in real time, it looked like Joe Scally got the ball on his challenge. The referee had a good view of it as NYC gains a free kick just beyond the center circle. As Velko Petkovic is fouled. He's from Richmond, a neighborhood in Queens. And Rodrigo Marion, the academy director for NYCFC, said he's come on lately. He's really matured a lot. And there's the halftime whistle. Carter Augustine, David Goss, your thoughts on the first 35 minutes?
Certainly physical from both teams. I think they both realize so much at stake here. If Pumas can get the win and jump NYC in the standings, meanwhile NYC, you realize a draw here would be a decent result as well. But I've been impressed by the intensity of both teams. Not too many clear-cut chances, but I think it'll open up here in the second half.
Yeah, I agree with that. At some point, Pumas has to go for it. They have the size, they have the physicality. I think NYCFC comes out of halftime and they try and get back to what they started with, control the ball in midfield. They have three talented players who are good on the ball and try and control the pace of game, but these two teams are very even.
If this score holds, then NYCFC would win the group, but still a lot to play for the next 35 minutes. We'll take a break. It's about a 10-minute halftime here at the Generation Adidas Cup, so don't go too far away. Back for the second half, New York City FC and Pumas scoreless at the break.
Ready to go.
Welcome back to Frisco, Texas. Second half set to begin. It's NYCFC against Pumas with Connor Augustine and David Goss. I'm Matt Peterson. A pretty even first half. It's a very even group. New York City FC with 5 points, Seattle with 4, and Pumas with 3. In the other game at Seattle and Saprissa tied 0-0. So this could be very exciting final 35 minutes with the places in the standings changing every few minutes.
I believe that was at halftime as well. Is that right, David?
Yeah, that game's at halftime. And I mean, if you come out as one of these two teams, you just got to know you got to win this game. If you win, you're putting yourself in fine position. Don't take a risk dealing with other results.
Like how they do these last group games simultaneously. Kind of gives it kind of a professional feel, doesn't it?
New York City slows the game down.
Yeah,
Giovanni Reyna.
This is when they're better. Just moving that ball left to right and open up space.
Will Sands, left-footed delivery, flicked on goal, and it's in! Tristan Briscoe! The opening goal for NYCFC about a minute into the second half.
Look at the celebration. The whole bench clears to come out. They know that that goal is huge. The first goal here in the second half is so quickly after the halftime interview. What an excellent flicked header there.
Wonderful delivery. We saw Will Sands throughout that first half cut onto his left from the right side. He did just that, and a nice delivery.
He finally gets some air under it, though. We saw so many crosses so low that Briscoe didn't have a chance to attack it. This time he gives him some height under it, and Briscoe creative there. I actually thought he was trying to lay it off for a teammate at first. just get that little loop on it. The goalie gets frozen there, nothing he can do about it. And it's a perfect start for NYCFC because now they can sit back and relax. Pumas has tried to get the game a little bit more open. NYCFC doesn't have to get pulled out, and they can control the ball when they get in possession, but they've looked better when they've defended in numbers.
The improvisation, you're right, Dave. I think the keeper thought he was going to lay it off as well. Martinez kind of comes a couple steps off his line, and Briscoe, the disguised header, looped it over his head. Really clever play from the center forward.
It's the first goal of the tournament for Tristan Briscoe, a 16-year-old out of West Babylon, New York, another of the Long Islanders. And NYCFC, another yellow card shown. That goes against Velko Petkovic. So he joins Giovanni Reyna and Joe Scally in the book.
Yeah, I don't think any apologies are going to make the referee change his mind there. Just stuck his hand out to stop that ball from looping over him.
And Petkovic had a spectacular goal against Saprissa just a few minutes after Giovanni Reyna scored. He was able to chip the Saprissa goalkeeper Rojas Molina from about 19 yards out as Hack rises to head away. Second ball, very difficult. And Reyna does well just to clear. It's going to be a corner kick for Pumas, but that was the goalkeeper, Peña Randa, coming off his line as the second ball proved very dangerous.
He had to make a play. He couldn't make a clean one, but good work from him to at least scramble that ball away because his whole back line had stepped up and everyone was on side for this Pumas squad.
Yeah, he really read that well. This defender tried a clearing header but headed it backwards instead. You're right. Wasn't able to corral it, but did his best to punch it away from danger.
Now 2 more yellow cards shown. It looked like the 2 NYCFC players were in the vicinity, but it wouldn't really seem all that usual for 2 players from the same team to be shown a yellow in that situation. So not sure exactly who those were on.
I think Briscoe got one of them, and I want to say it was just an argument between he and a Pumas player, and the ref said enough. You've seen these teams get chippy so far in this game.
I think you're right. That Briscoe looked like one of the likely ones of the 5 over there, as Henrik Carlson showed 2 yellows. There's Hack, a good clearance.
And City has to be careful. 4 or 5 yellow cards right now on this team. Of course, the 5 substitutions. You'd expect the coaches to, at some point, rotate through, make sure you don't get a red card this game or suspension for potentially what could be a semifinal coming up, but some unnecessary ones, and that's what you'd worry about when we talked about the physicality and learning. And you have to understand how to accept that physicality and then not get called out for retaliating.
Scally lost it in possession. Now Pumas down this left side. It goes off Reyna and out for a Pumas corner kick. That was Eric Lira, the midfielder.
Yeah, some sloppy play from Scally on a number of occasions there.
So 2 over there. Lira's one of them. Garcia's taken most of the corner kicks so far for Pumas. Falcone departs. This will be Marco Garcia. Bounces right through the penalty area, and Sands able to clear.
Owusu misread that corner kick, and he's fortunate that goes through because he rises up at the near post. Once it passes him, anyone can touch that one on goal. And Pumas didn't make any hard runs there around that penalty area.
You don't often see a corner kick bounce in the area like that. NYC, you're right, fortunate to escape after the misread from the center back. No Pumas player lurking in a really dangerous position there.
Pumas continuing to apply the pressure. Hack's been in a lot of good places. He denies that cross. There is Alexi Morel. And a free kick now to NYCFC. Alexi Morel, the number 7. He's 15 years of age from Huntington Station on Long Island. His 3rd straight start, one of the NYCFC Academy originals. NYCFC ahead, Tristan Briscoe, a flicked header off a great delivery from Will Sands. Just 2 minutes into the second half. You can see the physicality there of Reyna, good leaping ability.
He's impressive. One of the youngest players on the field. Every time he touches the ball, he seems calm and composed. And no matter how hectic it is, the game seems to slow down a little bit when he gets on it. He talks a little bit about his pedigree. One of the ways to help build an academy is have one of the best national team players ever have a child that plays for your academy.
So yellow card shown Eric Lira. He goes in the book. Reyna played for New York Soccer Club before the NYCFC Academy started.
Seen him take charge of a lot of these set pieces. As you mentioned earlier, he scored a beauty against Saprissa.
Reyna, a little bit too long, and it's caught by Adair Martinez. Reyna also converted one of the penalties for New York City FC in the shootout victory against Seattle. 1-0 New York City FC. They have yet to concede in this tournament.
If they can keep that no shots on target streak going as well, I think that'll serve them well. They have this 1-0 lead. They know thanks to that PK shootout win that a win will see them through.
If they do go through, they'll face off against San Jose in the semifinals. Philadelphia clinching their spot just a couple minutes ago with a 2-1 win against Chicago. They're facing off against Tigres from Mexico. But if NYCFC can get through, you at least guarantee an MLS team going to the final and an opportunity to play against San Jose Academy, which we've seen with Nick Lima and Tommy Thompson that's been coming up over the last few years.
Good performances from MLS teams in this division here at the Generation Adidas Cup.
Yeah, and how big is it for a team like NYCFC, Atlanta, these areas that haven't had maybe as much academy exposure? Of course, you have Red Bulls who arguably have put through the most professionals, I think, from an academy in MLS. Obviously, Dallas has the most numbers, but no one can cover all of that area in New York. And, of course, in the Southeast, there hasn't been a presence, and now Atlanta filling that void. So an opportunity, just more talent to get exposed, to play at a high level throughout their young playing days.
Another whistle, free kick for NYCFC. According to our in-game stats, Pumas has actually had more of the ball this afternoon, 54-46. They've actually taken more shots, 5-3. So Briscoe, his flicked header that beat Martinez was just the 3rd shot of the game for New York City FC.
That's follows a pattern as well. They scored with their only 2 shots on target against Saprissa, so they've dominated the ball in the first 2 games, but haven't turned it into a lot of shot output.
The NYCFC, I think, leading in passes in the entire Premier Division. And as you said, down a little bit possession-wise in this game, but being efficient as usual.
That efficiency in front of goal in an international competition as well is so impressive. We're talking to the LA Academy coach. He mentioned that in these competitions you don't get very many chances and you have to be really economical.
Briscoe, the goal scorer. Good use of his body, 1 versus 2. And it's a throw into Pumas. Now these guys scrap a little bit.
Yeah, Briscoe's looked good when he's actually pulled away from goal. We saw in the first half a few times the transition through midfield, and he had a couple good touches over on the sidelines to try and get around defenders. We haven't seen as much true hold-up play up top from him, but he got the goal, and that's all a striker needs to do.
Frustration pouring over for Pumas. We've seen a few players go right up to the linesman on this near side. Ben Pilgrim and shout. And the calls are going against this Pumas team. You can tell it's weighing on them.
That time it was Garcia against Hack, and that's been a really interesting battle. I think Justin Hack's been pretty good so far, dropping deep and really trying to find Garcia. He's trying to find the pockets of space in front of the center backs, two really quality players, and that was a good 50-50 challenge there.
And what a job that's been done so far by NYCFC on Segovia. The size and presence up top, you could see that it might be a factor early on, and he hasn't really been a name we've talked about. He hasn't gotten much touches. He hasn't really physically dominated at all. And so it's been impressive to see from this pair of NYCFC center backs.
Sands tries the dummy, and it rolls out for a throw-in. A moment ago, that was Kwaku Owusu getting away with a poor touch in midfield. Pumas was not able to counter the other way. There's a hard challenge from behind from the forward Emilio Segovia against Sands.
Yeah, I think referee Henrik Carlson's going to have his hands full in this second half.
Owusu was sort of let off the hook as Pumas didn't challenge. But Owusu is an interesting story. We talked about the wide range of socioeconomic backgrounds in this team. For Owusu, who lives in the Bronx, it takes him 3 buses and 2 trains to get to practice. He oftentimes gets home around 1 a.m. after practice.
When you talk about athletes in New York City history, you hear those stories with basketball a lot. It hasn't been the soccer story over the last few decades, but finally the opportunity to play in a professional environment, allowing players to get to that next level. He played in the Allianz Sueño competition, an opportunity to get seen in another place. And he's a player that a lot of coaches are excited about, and I think a player that has a bright future.
You have to admire the dedication from a young man like that to take the trains, planes, and automobiles to and from practice, get home at 1 a.m. and do it all over again.
Yeah, he and Yaya Bakayoko, a 14-year-old, they're sort of traveling partners. They'll carpool, they'll travel together. Bakayoko is an interesting story. He's 14. He's not yet registered, so he can't play in the development academy, but he is eligible for this tournament. So he's played twice. Actually played once. He started against Seattle, didn't play against Saprissa. He's on the bench today, but Bakayoko and Owusu, traveling brethren to get to the NYC Academy facility.
And the hope being, as these facilities grow, you make travel and situations like that easier. Housing opportunities, of course, at some youth academies, maybe satellite programs at some academies where you have more than one training place.
Great run forward from Reyna, gets it wide left. Good service from Alexi Morel, and a delayed call as Reyna was fouled. And this is right about the spot from which he scored his free kick against Saprissa. That was one of the first times we've seen him with space to run forward.
Yeah, he did well to lay it off, and that's good refereeing as well to see the foul behind the play. The ball was well gone there, and a late challenge, a needless challenge as well from a Pumas player. And you're right, they should have read the scouting report. They know that that's an area of the pitch that they do not want to concede a free kick. Giovanni Reyna on the field.
And here's Sands rejoining the action. He was treated by the NYC training staff, has some tissue in his nostril. So Sands, who had the delivery on the Briscoe opening goal, back on the field, and this will be Reyna.
I like Owusu and Citron coming forward here as center backs when you know Reyna's going to take this shot. After what he did against Saprissa, you're up 1-0, take the risk.
So we'll see where Martinez positions himself. It was the near post that Reyna went for on Sunday. Goes near post once again, but a low delivery, and Martinez was all over it. A corner kick now for NYCFC, and Gio Reyna will take his time.
He gets a little bit of dip on the shot, though, not the same as it was against Saprissa, and even though the goalkeeper has it covered, he still has to push it out for a corner kick. Good movement on that shot.
Here it comes from Reyna. It was Owusu rising above everyone, but he could not steer it on target.
Great delivery from that corner. Picked out his center back, and Owusu rose really well, just trying to guide the ball, use the pace of the delivery, and guide it into the far post. Just couldn't quite direct his head in the right direction.
I think you could say this half so far has played perfectly for NYCFC. They get the goal early. Most of the half's been played in Pumas' defensive side. They haven't given up any dangerous opportunities. It's gotten physical, it's gotten chippy, which is dangerous, especially for a team that wants to play in more do-or-die games coming up in the next few days, but I think so far they've handled it well.
And then Owusu, who rose to win that header on the corner, gets back quickly and draws the foul against Segovia for a NYC free kick. Briscoe took a shot in the back. Good defensive work from Giovanni Reyna on the far side.
Already out of play, so it'll be an NYC throw. And yeah, it has been a good response from NYC. As mentioned, coming into this game, these two teams used to possession. Now a little scuffle along the far side.
And the last thing you want to see right now.
Some pushing and shoving. The NYCFC bench is right there. Here come some Pumas substitutes, so not what you want to see. And now some arms being thrown from the Pumas players. And this has quickly gotten out of hand.
And it's right in front of the NYCFC bench, which doesn't help. It means that everyone has to be involved.
This is so silly from these players. You're not going to get away with these things anymore when you have video replay that can be used. And it's being looked at right now as we speak, being checked. And so it's just needless from both teams here.
And worth pointing out, Brian Falcone, he was a peacemaker. I saw him trying to hold back some of his teammates. So while we will quickly jump on those who come off the bench and maybe escalate the situation, worth complimenting those who try to simmer things down. So credit to Brian Falcone from Pumas.
Yeah, and young players, you get emotional. The blood rushes to the head. We see it all the time, especially in situations like this. These players, this tournament is a massive deal for them. And we had international teams last year come here that talked about how they didn't eat fast food for a year preparing for this tournament. It means a lot to come to this stage and prove themselves to a number of international teams. And sometimes when you see it starting to fall away, you do things, you get a little out of control, a little rash. You'd like to see these teams finish this one out cleanly.
It'll be really tough for the referees to sort that scrum out.
Fortunately, they have about 18 pro referees standing around this field right now watching this game.
Right, these are middle school and high school boys, and tempers flaring here.
The main referee, Henrik Carlson. Jeremy Kiso's on that bench side. Ben Pilgrim on the near side. This is where a lot of responsibility falls on the fourth official, Jorge Ramirez. Now we'll see the NYC substitutes being asked to calm down. It's Jeremy Kiso.
And the opposite for NYCFC, this is a brand new academy. These players are breaking ground. Pumas, probably the most storied history in Mexico in terms of academy players. It's just a who's list of stars that have come through. Claudio Suarez, Jorge Campos. So they have the pressure on the opposite side of trying to carry that name forward.
Hugo Sanchez as well. Really storied academy, you're right. These players do have a lot to play for. You talk about, obviously they're trying to impress their own academy teams, and then scouts from all over are here as well. You can understand the Pumas players, game slipping away for them.
We'll see what comes of this. It's the referee, Henrik Carlson, talking with the fourth official, Jorge Ramirez, and the far side linesman, Jeremy Kiso, also jotting some notes in his book. So there will be some action taken. It's just a matter of which players they single out. Yellow card goes to the forward, Segovia. Another one comes to Marco Garcia, so 2 Pumas players booked. And now they're going to go to the NYCFC bench. And a yellow card shown to a NYC substitute. Hard to tell who that is with his bib on.
Well, you'd love to see this get dealt with and not have to send anyone off. So we'll see how the next few minutes are handled between the players. The referee will try and do what he can to control it, but if these players choose to continue in this way, there's really nothing he can do about it.
I think he's flipping through pages on his pocketbook here, running out of space.
Now we've seen 3 total yellows from that confrontation. Now here comes another.
And this might be Petkovic's second.
Yes, it's a red card to Veljko Petkovic. So that's a huge moment in this game after a confrontation that started with Pumas players entering the field and New York City FC substitutes also getting involved. NYC is up a goal, but they'll play down a man. Petkovic booked earlier in the game and shown a second yellow.
It's just a shame, really. You'd like to see him keep his head there. Talk about the mentality in international competitions, how often you see senior teams in CONCACAF where try to bait you into reacting to certain aggressions, and in this particular instance could prove costly for NYC. They'll have to finish this one out with 10 men.
Yeah, Carter, I think you hit it on the head, though. That's a lot of what this is that learning experience. Every single piece of contact, all of the back and forth throughout the game consistently, and then this is the reward for those Pumas players who have been physical in that midfield area. They're able to get an opponent a red card, and it goes on top of not just this red card, but Petkovic also the silly yellow card for throwing his hand out earlier in the game. And all of that comes together. It's a learning moment for him, and it's a chance for those coaches to teach a little bit coming off of this, and that's why you have these tournaments.
And Rodrigo Marion, the academy director, specifically praised Veljko Petkovic yesterday, saying he's matured a lot lately. He's come on as a player.
And we've seen that in his game today. We've seen the quality that he has, his ability on the ball. That's not questioned, and I think just a mistake from a young player, but he'll hope that he gets an opportunity to make up for it if his team can continue to win.
It's been a long stoppage. You see some NYC players drinking out of cups of water. Justin Hack right there. So for the moment, 2 yellow cards shown to each team after that melee. Not melee, it was a brouhaha.
A hubbub.
Yeah, hubbub. And now they're going to video. And Henrik Carlson's going to look at the monitor on this near side. So 2 yellow cards shown to each team. The most important one was Veljko Petkovic. His second yellow, he is sent off. But more could be added.
And don't forget, mistaken identity is one of the key 4 things that can be reviewed. And so if maybe they're reviewing to see if Petkovic is the one who deserved that yellow card, there's a potential that he won't be shown that red card. But I think with a melee like that, or whatever we're calling it, with so many bodies flying around, this is the easiest way to go back and look it over.
And it's of note that, of course, a red card will be a 1-game suspension, but it will be reviewed, the red cards will, by the competition committee. Meanwhile, 2 yellow cards in the group stage result in a 1-game suspension, but that's reset after this 3rd group match. So if this red card is upheld, that means most likely Petkovic will have to miss that semifinal coming up this weekend.
And we do know the yellow card that was shown to the NYCFC substitute. We know his identity now. It's Yaya Bakayoko, the 14-year-old we mentioned before, that is a traveling partner of Kwako Owusu. So he was shown a yellow. And just to recap, everyone on a card for this game: Marco Garcia, Emilio Segovia, and Eric Lira for Pumas. And Reina and Bakayoko, the only men on yellows for NYCFC. And I thought Joe Scally got a yellow as well, but he's not in the official report we're seeing. So Henrik Carlson, the referee, has looked at the monitor for VAR, video assistant referee.
And so it seems like he will uphold that second yellow card. As Petkovic goes off to the sideline.
Yeah, this seems like one of the most egregious parts of that was the substitutes coming on the field. In any game, that's an easy one. So we'll see a yellow card shown. May have been Williams Bravo. I will confirm that. So it's a throw-in for New York City FC after all that. They lead 1-0 on a flicked header goal from Tristan Briscoe off a Will Sands delivery.
So now NYCFC playing man down. We'll assume a lot of stoppage time will be added as well to this half. There's about 10 minutes left to play, but I think about 7-8 minutes at least are going to be added, which mentally makes it tougher for this NYCFC team to try and see this game out.
So Briscoe, who was on a yellow card, is substituted. It's the first change in this game for NYCFC head coach Matt Pilkington. And it's Kim Coleman coming on. He missed the first 2 games with injury. Out of Shelton, Connecticut, near New Haven.
Yeah, the number 8 coming on. Looks like trying to solidify down to 10 men, bring a forward off, put another body into midfield.
Yeah, it looks like Sands will play both ways as that center forward, and he and Reyna will try and cover space down the right side as well. And now, more important than ever for NYCFC to try and get their foot on the ball as much as they can, try and take as much energy as they can out of this game, and see if they can get Pumas to chase for a little bit.
And we have received official word from the video assistant referee that the review identified a cautionable offense by Pumas player 185, who is Miguel Najera, who has been shown a yellow. So Miguel Najera was the substitute shown a yellow card. So one substitute, both on a yellow. Yaya Bakayoko for NYCFC and Miguel Najera for Pumas.
And that probably will play some into the minds of Pilkington of if he's going to bring his substitutes in. You don't want to risk someone who's already on a yellow card when you're man down and put yourself in a worse situation.
Each team with 4 substitutions available. It was just one change in the first half. Vasquez replacing Natarin. And Coleman just came on for Briscoe.
Saw in the game on Sunday, in which Monterrey went down to 10 men. They actually did well to keep the ball after that. I think New York, of course, will be looking to do the same, as David mentioned. Hold on to that ball. That's the best way to defend with 10 men.
Scally thought he went down easily, but Falcone draws the foul.
So NYCFC sitting on 5 points, could be on 8 if they can hold on. Seattle right now, we get confirmation up 2-0 on Saprissa. So in second place on 4 points. If NYCFC fails to take care of business here and gets pulled back to a draw or a loss, Seattle could be going through.
Now a free kick on this near side. Marco Garcia will take it. No wall from New York City. Good ball towards the back post, good clearance. And now a corner kick came off of Reyna, who kept that right arm tucked. It was Nico Benal-Kazar, the NYCFC captain, who cleared the initial delivery.
Reyna still keeping his arms tucked there to try and make sure the referee knew.
Here's the corner kick. Bouncing in the area, and it's claimed in the end by Johan Peñaranda.
I think we've seen the age difference and the size difference on these set pieces for Pumas. They've won most of the balls off their own corner kicks. We've seen the ball bounce a couple times in the box. That's something to watch out for as this game wears on and Pumas tries to put more and more balls into the box. NYCFC is forced to try and scramble on.
Peñaranda, one of the steady hands back there. He is 17. He's only one of just 5 players born in 2000 on this NYCFC U17 team. The other 15 are born in 2001 or 2002. Now we see NYCFC really dropping deep, down a man, trying to protect this 1-goal lead. That was scored by Tristan Briscoe.
Vasquez has been a good presence since coming off the bench for Pumas out there on that far right side. Just hasn't gotten a lot of touches here in this second half.
He's been really creative on the ball. He's won a couple free kicks for his team and a handful down the right. Pumas would do well to try and feed him a little bit more. Of course, they do have this numerical advantage.
Garcia and Falcone are over there for Pumas. Garcia delivers. Bounces in the area. Falls to this left side. And great recovery from Joe Scally. Sliding to clear.
Segovia, though, had that pass on that through ball. He plays it just a little bit too wide. Otherwise, it was a one-on-one with the keeper.
Poor touch as well from like Zarco on the receiving end of that pass. It's a golden opportunity. Again, the ball bouncing in the box from a set piece.
Looks like long throw coming here.
Flicked on dangerously and cleared at the back edge of the box, Alexi Morel. That's David Oteo at the back for Pumas. Dangerous ball, and it's just beyond the reach of Brian Falcone. It was an excellent delivery.
And again, Marco Garcia this time, we've seen he does like to, if he doesn't find space in the center of the pitch, he'll scoot out wide right, combine with the substitute Vasquez, and that time just a fizzed-in ball across the 6.
Well, you see New York trying to figure out how to play man down. Hack pushed up to try and put some pressure on the back line. Owusu stepped into his spot, and then all of a sudden you have an opening on that back line that allows Pumas to get a cross away. So NYCFC team's going to have to stay a little bit tighter.
Gabriel Zarco.
Sorry, man. Looks like they're going to have a lot of defending here to do to try and close this one out. Pumas doing well so far with this man advantage to shift the point of attack from left to right and back again.
Another good claim from the NYCFC goalkeeper, Johan Peñaranda, and he's fouled at the end of it.
I've been impressed with Peñaranda. He hasn't seen all that much action in these first 3 games, but when he's been called upon, there he goes again, reading the situation well, quickly off his line.
Came out of the BW Gotchi Academy on Long Island. Wilmer Cabrera, the current coach of the Houston Dynamo, he previously coached at Gotchi.
He had a chance to coach the late, great David Goss for a half second at Gotchi, in a camp where he'll never remember, but it was the peak of my soccer career.
Yeah, that was the impetus for his coaching career, that one-on-one relationship with you, and just how coachable you were.
Realizing how far the American player had to go.
Turnover here. Coleman Kim does well, and he wins the corner kick. So the substitute just into the game.
Fantastic play, but he looks up to see if he gets the call, and then he plays through. You'd love to see that a player there in Kim play through that, and then look to see if he gets the PK.
Coleman Kim turned 16 in March. A NYCFC Academy original. Sands and Giovanni Reina in a 2-man game. Great return ball, but Sands was offside. A good view from the near side referee, Ben Pilgrim. No argument from Sands. And then Reyna kicked behind the play right in front of the assistant referee. Physicality increasing even more here late on.
Coleman comes steaming through at the end of that. We'll see if NYCFC can raise their game to this level that Pumas is playing at without getting out of control. You don't want to end up playing your opponent's game. If you're not a team that plays that way, you don't want to start flying around, pressuring in different areas, trying to be overly physical.
And especially down a man as well. They have to remain compact, keep those lines organized. Don't get pulled away too much.
Looks like Pumas is going to its bench shortly. Brian Falcone isolated against Joe Scally. Good goalkeeping there. Peñaranda was alert at the near post, will concede a corner.
Yeah, Falcon got the edge against Scally there. Just a nice turn of pace to get an extra yard space for the cross. Good delivery as well, but you're right. Excellent goalkeeping to snuff it out at his near post.
Zarco exits. See who came on for him. Again, it's the tandem of Falcone and Garcia standing over this corner kick. Here it is towards the middle, headed just wide. Another good chance. That was Kevin Canchola, the central midfielder. And Miguel Najera comes on, and he enters this game with the yellow card. He was the man that was cautioned for joining the fracas at midfield. So a yellow card after he ran onto the field during the disagreement between the two teams.
David pointed that out as well. Interesting from the manager to bring on a player on a yellow card already.
And for Pumas, a lot to play for here, but they will not be able to go through. Seattle clinching that victory, which mathematically eliminates Pumas. So right now, NYCFC looking to hold on if they can. Otherwise, Seattle will go through, but an MLS team will win this group in the end. NYCFC knocking off Seattle in penalty kicks after a 0-0 draw in the first game of this group stage.
So that moves Seattle to 7 points for the moment. NYC entering this game with 5, so if they win, they'll have 8 to Seattle's 7. If Pumas pulls a goal back, NYC will be on 6 and then move to 7 with the penalty win. They'd fall 1 point short, so it's imperative they hold on to this lead.
It would, I believe they tie with Seattle if they do win that penalty. So if, of course, Pumas players will have no idea that Seattle has won. They're still trying to claw back into this game, and if they can get a goal back, and if this thing ends in a tie, it's a huge penalty shootout for NYC. It means they would have to win in that penalty shootout to at least get level on points.
Here's the delivery, another header. This one goes over the bar. That was a pretty good chance. Emilio Segovia. And every set piece of late has been dangerous for Pumas.
Yeah, they attack the ball very well. They've been not doing too much, putting it in simple areas. And one of the fun parts about this tournament is the proximity of all these fields. The Seattle team that we said just won and is looking to go through, standing behind the Pumas goal. So they're a good cheering section for this Pumas team as they try and push for a game-tying goal.
And, of course, the games were started at the same time, but that long scrum has resulted in what will be a lot of extra time, and that will allow Seattle to come over and watch the remainder of this game and add a little bit of drama as well.
Pumas. And it's cleared out by Nico Benal-Cazar.
Joe, watch behind, Joe, watch behind. Watch behind.
Falcone. Lofted cross. And it's out for a goal kick. Peñaranda made sure it was out.
That man again, Dominguez, he loves playing it with the outside of your boot. Sometimes when kids first discover that, you know, that's the only way they'll play. It's a pretty technique to have, but he starts the attack down the left-hand side, and Falcon has been a big player for Pumas in this second half along that left side.
And it looks like Matt Pilkington, the NYCFC head coach, is about to go to his bench once again. He's only made one change so far, with Coleman Kim replacing Tristan Briscoe, the goal scorer. So this will be the second change with 3 more available.
First sub was a good addition to the game, I think. Kim, he's got stuck in a few challenges. Tough to really get used to the speed and physicality of this game as a sub. He's done well, and we hope in this second sub can come in and help them get over the line here, hold on to this vital 3 points.
Now 25 total fouls in this game. 15 against NYCFC, 10 against Pumas.
And remember, this is only a 70-minute game, not a full 90-minute game. Those 25 fouls coming quick and heavy.
The substitute is Andres Jason. He's 15 years of old out of Greenwich, Connecticut.
Started the first game against Seattle. So, good opportunity for him, and I'm sure Pilkington will be comfortable bringing in a guy who's already started a game in this tournament.
He's one of the older 2002s. Turned 15 in January. He previously played at Everton FC Westchester. And there's the full-time whistle. So we weren't sure how much time will be added on, but NYCFC, they have a 1-0 victory on the goal from Tristan Briscoe. They survived the red card to Veljko Petkovic. They do not concede a goal in the group stage, and as you see the reaction from the Pumas players, NYCFC wins its group.
They fought hard. It was a fun game to watch. I think both these teams brought a level of intensity. I think Pumas brought out a little bit more quality in NYCFC than they've had to show at times throughout this tournament, but they deserve to win this group. First time coming to this tournament, bringing a young team to win your group with 2 international sides and a top team in Seattle. Really impressive. It'll be fun to watch them go up against San Jose.
I was really impressed with that response after the halftime break from NYC. We mentioned they had over 60% possession in their first 2 games. They were trailing in that category coming in after the break, and with a team that loves to play with the ball, they realized that was a big, important task to get on the ball here in the second half. They did that up until the red card, got the early goal, and then defended well, as they have all 3 games here, 3 shutouts, and this last one with 10 men as well. Really impressed by NYC and deservedly winners of their group.
They will not have Veljko Petkovic in the semifinal on Thursday. He was shown a second yellow and a red card after that confrontation between the 2 teams. So New York City FC, with 2 wins and a penalty shootout victory in the group stage, they win the group with 8 total points. Seattle comes in second with 7. So 2 MLS clubs atop this group, Pumas and Saprissa, rounding out the group. The goal was scored just 2 minutes into the second half by Tristan Briscoe, his first of the tournament, off a assist from Will Sands. Gentlemen, any final thoughts?
I think you look at what's coming up in the next round, and you look at this San Jose team, the way they've played, and Philly playing against Tigres, and I think there's going to be one of the better semifinals matchups that we've seen so far in the few years that we've been broadcasting this tournament, and looking forward to it. I think this NYCFC team's going to have a lot to fill with the holes that they have in Petkovic now being out, but they've shown some versatility so far, and if they can continue to play strong defensively, I think they have the goal scoring to get through.
Certainly, that defensive strength that they have, having not conceded, that'll serve them well going forward. It's been a really impressive tournament here in these first 3 days, and looking forward to the semifinals. NYC, I think they'll be fancying their chances moving forward.
All right, well, that's it from here. We'll be back at 6:15 right here at Field 4, Real Madrid against FC Dallas, one of the showcase games in this competition. That's it for the early game. New York City FC, another victory. They're advancing to the semifinals. Tristan Briscoe, a game-winning goal off a delivery from Will Sands. For Carter Augustine and David Goss, my name is Matt Peterson. We'll talk to you in a few hours for Real Madrid and FC Dallas.